Good afternoon, badass artists. I'm Mia Leondo. We are back today on a new skin tone adventure. We are using Celestia, our newest book. It just came out, a week and a half ago. So hopefully you are joining me today. Today's skin tone is going to be a little darker. And first of all, well, let me point out a couple of things before we jump right in, and usually I jump right in. This book was sent to me and it has lines in it. If you guys get a book like this, send it back, because it's not supposed to have lines. It's not supposed to be printed. This isn't actually printed too dark, but there are details that this is missing. That's why I post a flip through in my Facebook group and on my personal Facebook page, so that you can see every single page and what it's supposed to look like, so that you can see all the tiny little details in their hair and their outfits and their, their jewels and all of that. And it's especially helpful when we're doing a book like Turtle Bay or Botany Bay or the Hollow Lands, when there's a lot of little details in the ground, in the foreground, in the mushrooms, in the trees, in the flowers. When there's a lot of little details, if it's printed too dark, you lose the details, and that's, that bothers me, because I want you guys to get a good copy. So if you get a book that's printed too dark, it's got lines in it, basically this is a printing issue. There's nothing I can do about it. I send a perfect file to Amazon. The way they print it is out of my hands. So this just looks to me like the print head was dirty and needed to be cleaned, and they didn't do it, and it wasn't inspected before it got shipped out to me. That's just a quality issue. Again, there's nothing I can do about it, but they will send you a new copy. If you contact them and say, hey, I got a bad copy, it's got lines in it, it's too dark, they usually get a new copy to you within 24 to 48 hours, depending on where you live in the world. Sometimes they ask you to send the book back. I'm always happy. I mean, over the years that I've been making coloring books, and I've got about 50 books out now, I've had to send about 5 books back. And I think almost every time it was because it was printed too dark. I was happy to send it back because I wanted them to see what the problem was. If they ask you to send it back, cool. A lot of times they'll just send you a new one, and then you can toss the one that's too dark or too, grainy, or, has lines in it. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know, join my Facebook group, follow me on Facebook. I don't do a lot on Instagram. I don't do Instagram too much, but if you're on Facebook, jump over there and you can always see the flip through, so that you'll know if you have a good copy, okay? All right, let's jump in. One of the things I wanted to work on is, what if you want to change the skin tone that's presented to you? If you have one, and she's a medium skin tone, you can tell that she's more ethnic, and she should be a little, but what if you want to make her a lot darker? Not being intimidated by the color of the grayscale. Going in and making her look exactly the way you want, without feeling intimidated by, as we go on in our tutorials, I'll teach you how to change the shape of their noses, to make the nose slimmer or wider, how to change their eye shape, or, we're going to learn a lot of different things. And we're not always going to be coloring in books. Sometimes we'll just be drawing on paper. One of the tutorials coming up is how to draw a feather, a nice poofy quill kind of feather, and I'm working that into the repertoire right now. So this is Deep Almond. Actually, I think I'm gonna start with medium deep. No, I'm gonna start with Deep Almond. This is Crayola Colors of the World, and this is quite a bit darker. Let me get you guys settled here. This is quite a bit darker than, once you put this color down, you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of a toasty almond color. And it can be a little intimidating, especially when you're starting to spread out over the paper and you're like, oh, wow, I mean, what am I doing? Is this too dark? Does this look right? Does it look funny? Well, you have to just trust yourself. trust the process and keep going. And that's what we're going to do today. Because even sometimes for me, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? This doesn't look right. Remember, if it just doesn't look right, that's why we have this. We have these wonderful tools to go back and fix things that we don't like. But 9 times out of 10, it's okay. And we just have to believe in ourselves and keep going. So we're going to work on this today. We might not get all the way finished with her, but that's okay. We finished Turtle Bay, and we have finished our little silk dress in Ladies of Lauderdale. So we are kind of closing some of our open chapters and getting more focused on newer projects. If there are things out there you guys would like to see, well, let me know. I am always happy to teach new things. I am just going around the outer part of her face, the shadowy parts where, you know, her hair is going to cast a shadow. And this is a darker, you know, a darker warmish brown. So it's definitely going to leave its pigment, and you don't have to put a lot of pressure on there. Just soft, light hand and small circles. The circles make it easier to blend other colors into it later. You guys tell me how you feel about markers and paint, because I was going to introduce some of that in this book. There's a lot of wings and things that can shimmer with angels, and a lot of that requires different mediums other than colored pencils. And I wanted to know how you guys felt about other things, if you're interested in watercolor or neo colors, which are just they're like crayons. They look like crayons, but when you add water with a paintbrush, it turns into a paint. Gel pens. There's all sorts of different things, markers, a lot of different things that we can explore on the channel. You just have to let me know what you're interested in learning. Now, I tend to make the area around the eyes darker. That's just a style thing. You don't have to do it. But I do tend to add a little more pressure in the creases of the eyes and around the temple area and just around the eye in general. And like I said, that's a style thing. That's just something I started doing about, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. And it just kind of stuck, and that's just a preference. You definitely don't have to do it. And we're going to do a lot with these feathers. We're going to make these iridescent just with pencils. We're not going to actually use a shimmer like a glitter or a gel, but I have glitter. I have some Crayola. I like Crayola because it's easy to, it's easy to get your hands on, and it's not that expensive, and I think that's one of the reasons I like it. But I have some glitter gel pens, not gel pens, they're like, it's like actual glitter that you paint on your pictures. to add some sparkly accents and whatnot. And I haven't tried those yet. I've got a pack of 5, and there's like blue and red and green, but then there's a silver color and a clear iridescent color, and I'm kind of excited about trying some of those with these angel wings. But I'm going to show you how to make an iridescent look just with regular colored pencils. Kind of like we trick our eyes into believing gold just with certain colors that we use in our pencil sets, and we've talked about that when we don't have metallic gold pencils available. And sometimes actually the colors look better than the metallics. The metallics don't really photograph very well. They look great in person, but they never photograph well. Now I'm getting down here to these lines, and you'll see why they're an annoyance, because even when you color over them, they just seem to still show through, and that aggravates me. I want you guys to get your money's worth, and lines through faces is not ideal. I kept it because I didn't want to wait for another one. Well, there's another one coming, but I didn't want to wait. I have to, when books are released, I get the first copies just like you guys do. I don't get an author's copy early. I get them the same time as you guys, and sometimes I get impatient. I don't want to wait for a different copy, so I'll just order a second one and deal, with the bad copy later. But I wanted to get started on some stuff in this book, and I decided to keep it. And it doesn't bother some people. Some people are like, well, the lines don't bother me. I'm just, that's cool too. If it doesn't bother you, great. I'm just working my way around, nice and easy. There's a lot of patience with the process. And she's coming together pretty nicely here. The trick is just not to be intimidated by that darker color. Sometimes it feels a little scary, but I promise it'll come out just fine in the end. notoriously forgetting ears, so let's jump there real quick. And you can definitely see that I'm adding a little more pressure in this eye area to make it a little bit darker. And the shadows of the nose, we were kind of talking about that earlier. The longer, the more the shadowing goes this way, the skinnier the nose. And the more the shadows go this way, the wider the nose. And it's more about, you know, the distance here, where the highlights are. And that's something we'll go over in a different video. You know, she's kind of turned in a 3/4, and we'll work on something where the profile is more straightforward or facing directly towards us, so it's easier to see. But if you're ever in a situation where you kind of want to change the nose or the distance between, you know, the lips and the nose or the eyes or something, you can do that. And you don't have to always take what you're given, what's printed and handed to you. You can make your own changes with art. We can make it look like whatever we want. Now I'm really giving it a lot of pressure through here because this is exceptionally shady. Okay, now I'm going to get this other color that we had earlier, the medium deep almond. It's kind of hard to see there. And we're going to go in and kind of, it's a little bit, it's just one shade lighter. It's very close. It's just a little more subtle. And we're just going to bring this color all the way back into that deeper color, and it'll blend right in, nice and easy. And don't worry, just, you know, small circles, just a nice easy hand. And don't worry if you can see the circles, you can see my circles. We just keep working on it until we work it in, and keep going. It works itself out. Everything blends together in the end. We just keep working with it till we're happy. This is just pigment and paper. We are definitely in charge. And if you wanted to be a little darker, you could do that. Or a little lighter, of course. But this is about, you know, not being intimidated about making something really dark and feeling confident with it. And I think once we get her face filled in, I'm going to add some blush and work on her lips, but probably not today because we've done an awful lot on her today. We'll try and get her face at least all filled in. But I like these colors. I mean, Crayola Colors of the World have very believable skin tones. They're usable colors, and I appreciate that. It's 24 believable colors. They're skin tones that can be used for things other than just skin. You can use them in their hair, in their eyes, and you can use them in landscapes and what have you. So I always appreciate pencil sets that are hard workers and can be versatile and used for other things and are affordable, and these definitely are. I cringe when I get a skin tone set of pencils that's filled with hot pinks and greens, and I'm like, you know, unless I'm doing a mermaid, or you know, the Wicked Witch of the West, there's no green. And I understand that, you know, there's a lot of you know, color building and all of that, but there are too many skin tone sets. There are too many colors out there that are readily available to be mixing our own skin colors at this point. You know, 20 years ago, okay, but not now. And I appreciate believable, usable colors, and Crayola definitely did that. So did Faber-Castell with their skin tones. I really like theirs. Black Widow with their light skin tones. They are kind of, the light skin tone with Black Widow has a lot of pink and a lot of yellow, but their dark skin tone I like, especially the two sets together. You can get a lot of really pretty skin tones with the two together, and you can get both sets for under $30 total. So I'm a fan of that as well. So, but you know, Crayola, these pencils that I'm using now, you can get the set for less than $5. So if you, I mean, if you're on a budget and you want a good skin set, this is the way to go. Now, I ordered these from Amazon, and I paid, I think, $4.97, but I was actually at Walmart the other day, and they carry Crayola, and the pencils were $3 and change, and the crayons, they're skin tone crayons, and they were $1.50. So, you know, depending on where you are, when you catch them, they're definitely economical and something that's good to have in your coloring arsenal. I use them a lot. Okay, now I might go in next time we're together on this one and add another layer, or go in with like a neutral tone, like one of these very light golden, and kind of go over. Let me show you what I mean. Kind of blend these two colors even more deeply together, kind of smooth it out. And sometimes when when your circles show, or it kind of looks a little you know, grainy or something like that, you just kind of go over. It's kind of like a burnishing technique, or you know, a blending technique, and you just take a lighter shade and you just sort of go over everything to give it a nice even finish. And I'm sure you can see how it's sort of balancing itself out and looking more even. And it can give a real porcelain doll effect too when you go over it with you know, a lighter neutral shade, it kind of, you know, balances the tone out and evens the skin tone, you know, and it gets rid of all those little, you know, spots where you might have pressed a little harder here or a little lighter there, or your, you know, your circles are showing, and this kind of just, you know, works all of that out. Now, I know some of you like to use Gamsol or, you know, the colorless blenders from Prisma, or, you know, there's a lot of colorless blenders. Karen Dash has some. We, you know, did a video on that a while back. But this is usually, if I have to blend something out, this is usually the way I do it. I just choose a kind of a neutral color that's a little bit lighter than what I've been working with in the same color family. Because, you know, if you use a white pencil or a gray pencil or a beige pencil, you run the risk of changing the integrity of the original color. And if you're okay with that, then that's, you know, that's fine. Or if you're trying to purposefully lighten the shade or something like that, then, you know, absolutely white or beige or something is the way to go. But I don't necessarily want to take away from the intensity of the skin tone that I've already laid down. So by adding this, I'm deepening the color that I have already down, and I'm kind of blending it out and making it smooth. I hope that makes sense. So the next time we come back, I will finish her shoulders and neck, and we will continue to go in with this color. It is very light golden, and we will continue to blend her skin in. But these are the only 3 pencils that we've used, and we'll probably only use those until we get to like the blush color in her cheeks, and then we'll use one of the rose colors from the Crayola set. But okay, everybody, that'll do it for today. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll do so. That way you'll always be notified when I upload a new video, and that's usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sometimes we have a couple of extras if I've got something going on and I'm trying to keep you guys you know, in the loop for the weekend, or if we're working on something special, I'll throw a few extras in there here and there. If you haven't given it a thumbs up, do that. If it was helpful, it helps other people find our channel, and they can hang out with us and learn different art tips and tricks and techniques as well. So I will put links in the description below to the book, to the flip through, to the pencils, and I think that should do it. Okay, everybody, see you next time.